The Reign of Jafar is next week. The Hexwell crown has been completed. Jafar is now the High Sultan of Lorcana, and well, he has something to say.
But there's a new order now. My order.
What's going on, fellow Illuminators and Titan Nation? Well, back in, I'm Lorcana Thanos, the Mad Titan of the Illuminator, and that's right, we are starting our Reign of Jafar content. There are so many archetypal / tribal based decks that I want to share with you guys. We are going to do some competitive stuff, but the very first one I want to focus on is the Illusion deck. I'm going to be sharing with you two lists today. One on the more social casual side, and one that's beefed up a little bit more, that can hang a little bit more on a competitive front. Let's go ahead and dive right on in. And let's start with that social casual playlist. So here's my social / casual playlist for Illusions of Jafar. It's 60 cards with 14 non-inkables and is Amethyst Steel. So yes, 14 non-inkables is a little bit high. You can adjust that accordingly to your personal playstyle. What are you trying to do with illusions? Well, you want to keep as many of them out as possible. You're trying just to be aggressive and flood the board. And you do so primarily with the brand new super rare in Reign of Jafar, Jafar, High Sultan of Lorcana. Jafar is a non-inkable 5-cost glimmer that has 4 strength, 4 willpower, and 3 lore. He has an ability called Dark Power that whenever this character quests, you may draw a card, then choose and discard a card. If an illusion character is discarded this way, you may play that character for free. This is where this deck can really take off. Let's go ahead and dive into the list. Starting off with 4 Diablo, Obedient Raven, and Palace Guard, Spectral Sentry. Then we're going with 3 copies of Raja, Ghostly Tiger, and 4 copies of Mistress Me, Bumbling Mate. Of course, got to have 4 copies of Giant Cobra for that lore gain. 3 copies of the brand new Magic Carpet, Phantom Rug, 4 copies of Pete to prevent your opponent from playing actions, because that is the downfall of this deck, is that Vanish keyword. And if you don't know what Vanish does, it's a keyword that says that when an opponent chooses this character for an action, you banish them. We have 4 copies of Iago, Giant Spectral Parrot, 4 copies of Jafar, Newly Crowned, 4 copies of Jafar, High Sultan of Lorcana, 2 copies of the Sultan, and 4 copies of Abu. Going into the actions, we have 2 copies of Desperate Plan. Now, you can most certainly run this at 4, but we have another draw card and 4 copies of Friends on the other side. And I didn't think a 4-4 split was needed with Desperate Plan, so I am choosing to run that at 2. Then we have 2 copies of Strength of a Raging Fire, and 4 copies of And Then Along Came Zeus. And we're rounding out the list with 2 copies of Scarab. So if you set this card up properly, this card can actually be really good. It's good for recursion, for getting illusion characters back into your hand. It does sometimes not really do a whole lot, but again, that's why it is in the thematic version of the deck. Hey there, so real quick, if you're enjoying the content, if you could do me a massive favor, be sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell so you get notified of when I upload new videos every Tuesday and Friday. And let me know down below what you think of the video. All right, back to the video. So that was my social casual play version of the list. Let's go ahead and jump on into the competitive one. And here we have the more competitive-minded version of the list. It's more powerful than the themed version, but keep in mind, because of that Vanish keyword, if you go up against a deck, especially Ruby, where they're playing a lot of actions, you will have a rough time. But I do think that I have enough good Amethyst Steel cards in here to kind of balance that out a little bit. So it is a 62 card list with 12 non-inkables. Couldn't find the 2 to cut. Of course, it is Amethyst Steel, and let's go ahead and dive right on in. Starting out with 4 copies of Diablo, Obedient Raven, and 4 copies of Palace Guard, Spectral Sentry, 4 copies of Madam Mim Snake, and 4 copies of Mistress Me, Bumbling Mate. I have 3 copies of Giant Cobra in this list, and 4 copies of Madam Mim Fox, with 4 copies of Pete, Games Referee. I wanted to run a 4th copy of the Giant Cobra, but I couldn't quite find what to cut. Then we have 4 copies of Iago, Giant Spectral Parrot, 4 copies of Jafar, Newly Crowned, and 4 copies of Merlin Goat, and of course 4 copies of Merlin Rabbit. And to wrap up our characters, 4 copies of Jafar, High Sultan of Lorcana, and 3 copies of the Abu. For the songs, we have 4 copies of Friends on the other side, 4 copies of Strength of a Raging Fire, and 4 copies of And Then Along Came Zeus. And there you have it. That is both lists for you. I really enjoy Illusions. Illusions is a really fun deck. Jafar is my favorite Disney villain. So, of course, I am going to be grinding hard to get, of course, the set champion chained for Reign of Jafar. And, of course, that playmat because it is just... But as always, let me know down below what you thought of this list. I got a ton more Reign of Jafar content coming here on the channel. I have a massive list of decks on a social and a competitive minded focus that I want to share with you guys. And I'll see you guys next time, and I'll see you later. Bye. That's going to do it for today's video. Be sure to give me one of these. It's super impactful and helping this video find other Illuminaires such as yourself. If you like the Lorcana content here on the channel and you want to see more, tighten smash that subscribe button and click that bell so you get notified of when I upload new videos every Tuesday and Friday. Also, be sure to let me know down below what you thought of this video, and you can follow me on the artist formerly known as Twitter on X at lorcana, and I'm on Blue Sky as well at lorcana. Thanks for watching, and I think you might enjoy these. And remember, the hardest choices require the strongest wills.